This is also a good time to examine in a little more detail these if-else constructs we've been using. So often in our programming, we want the code to do one set of things if some criterion is true, and another set of things if it isn't. For example, when our database functions, like this one, fail, we want a different thing to happen than when they succeed. We describe this formally as if condition do A, else do B. The value of the condition is true, i.e. has the Boolean value true or has a positive number value, then A is done, otherwise B is done. The best way to get the hang of this is to look carefully at the examples as we go through them and study the ones in your downloadable snippets file. Looking at our current example, you should be able to see that if this condition, which is actually the execution of an SQL statement, if that turns out to be true, then we'll execute what's between the first set of braces, opening brace, closing brace. If it's false, then we'll execute what's between the second set of braces. The first set of braces and the second set of braces are separated by the word else. What we call the condition is in the parenthesis after the if. So it's if, condition in parenthesis, set of braces containing what's executed if the condition is true, else a set of braces containing what's executed if the condition is false. Formatting this is a matter of choice. I prefer the layout in this snippet to make the logic flow quite clear. So I align the if, the close braces, and I put the close brace for the true condition, else open brace for the false condition on the same line. Okay, we already know that we can only execute SQL statements after we've connected to the database. So above the SQL code we've just done, find and paste the snippet project connectdb. This is the standard piece of code that we wrote before. We identify the parameters, the hostname, username, and password. We identify the database name. We connect to MySQL and select the database. And then we construct a success variable, starting with the value true, and make it false if either we're unable to connect to the database or unable to connect to MySQL. Then we put in if DB success is true, then execute this code. So we need to take all of our code, cut it with Control X, put it into this success test, mark the code and indent it between the success braces. Of course, for this particular script, we're actually only connecting to MySQL. We're not selecting a database, just deleting it. So we can delete the database name and we can delete the database selection. We can also delete the if selected criterion so that it now purely connects to MySQL as root with no password, and the success criterion, DB success, is only made false if DB connected fails. So if the connection is successful, we will now execute our drop database SQL. File, you've probably noticed when it's in blue, in Bluefish, has not been saved. So we'll save it now. In your browser, go to the directory dbwip of localhost. Might be a good idea to now bookmark this directory and shift the bookmark into our PHP training bookmarks. Refresh the page, and now you can see that the size of the file drop db alpha crm has increased a little bit, and clicking on this will open that PHP script and report exactly what we've coded it to report. Drop database alpha crm successful. Exactly the echo statement that we recorded. Now go back to PHP MyAdmin, click on Databases, and verify that the database Alpha CRM has now disappeared from the list of databases. So our dropdb alphacrm.php script has been successful.